Welcome to Legend Story Vault, where we uncover the hidden stories of rock's greatest legends. Tonight we tell an extraordinary tale, how Axl Rose, the wild frontman of Guns N' Roses, stepped in for ACDC's ailing singer and what it revealed about the band's secrets. Our journey starts with Rose's own dramatic rise. Born William Bruce Rose Jr. in 1962, Axl had a turbulent childhood. His father abandoned the family when he was a toddler, and later he learned that his stepfather wasn't his real dad. At age 17, he discovered his true paternity and legally changed his name to W. Axl Rose. By 1982, the restless teen was in Los Angeles, determined to make it in rock. There, he teamed up with guitarists Izzy Stradlin and Slash, bassist Duff McKagan and drummer Steven Adler, forming Guns N' Roses. Their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, exploded in 1987, selling over 25 million copies worldwide and making Rose a superstar almost overnight. Guns N' Roses' impact was seismic, but not without chaos. Rose quickly became a lauded and controversial figure. Charismatic and wildly unpredictable, he was notorious for being late to shows and refusing to tolerate unruly fans. Controversial lyrics added to the firestorm. The song, One in a Million, drew accusations of racism and homophobia from some listeners. On stage, incidents like the 1991 St. Louis riot, when Rose stormed off mid-song after retrieving a banned camera from a fan, cemented his volatile reputation. After the frenetic Use Your Illusion tour, GNR's classic lineup unraveled, Slash and others left by the late 1990s. Rose retreated from public view, re-emerging in 2004 with new bandmates. Guns N' Roses finally released Chinese Democracy in 2008 after a famously long delay, but Rose briefly vanished again afterward. Fast forward to 2016, Axl Rose was back, this time in a role nobody could have predicted. In March 2016, ACDC faced a crisis. Their veteran singer, Brian Johnson, had been told by doctors to stop touring or risk total hearing loss. Shocked fans demanded refunds, and the future seemed uncertain. Then Axl Rose stepped up. He later said he had called ACDC's tour manager the day he heard the news. "I'd love to help if they needed a singer." Rose explained that he was motivated by respect for Johnson and the fans. "I'm just trying to do it justice," he said in a radio interview. ACDC's bandleader Angus Young praised Rose's dedication. Angus noted that Rose learned dozens of songs on short notice, even while recovering from a broken foot, and gave it his all to get through the shows. He called Axl very professional and said, "I've got a lot of respect for him. I'll always be grateful to him for stepping in." Even Brian Johnson joined in the praise, later telling Ultimate Classic Rock that Rose's performances were pretty fantastic under the circumstances. Critics agreed the gamble paid off. Reviewing the Lisbon debut, The Guardian raved that Rose had delivered those songs perfectly, giving them fresh menace. "His voice is brilliant. No matter how high, every note is hit." The paper called it a masterly first appearance, despite Rose having to sing while seated in a makeshift throne after injuring his foot. In short, what began as a desperate fill-in became a triumphant moment for the band. Fans who were once wary saw proof Axl was a worthy frontman for ACDC's classics. Brian Johnson had carried ACDC since 1980, but by 2016 years of loud concerts had taken their toll. He later admitted, "I couldn't hear the tone of the guitars at all. It was crippling to continue performing." When doctors finally told him to stop, it was an emotional blow. Angus Young later said it was a hard thing to do. Johnson wanted to finish, but because of the hearing factor, he had to make the decision. Johnson initially struggled to accept being replaced, but public statements showed no bitterness. He ultimately praised Rose's work, saying he had a lot of respect for what Rose did to help finish the tour. ACDC's rhythm guitarist and co-founder Malcolm Young had quietly bowed out 2 years earlier, in 2014, due to serious health issues. He was suffering from dementia and did not appear on the Rock or Bust album. Malcolm passed away in 2017, but his musical legacy lived on. On 60 Minutes Australia, Angus Young became emotional describing Malcolm's decline and saying that even in his illness, Malcolm still got a great kick if I played him guitar. True to that bond, ACDC's 2020 album Power Up was crafted as a tribute to Malcolm. Angus explained that every song was co-credited to Malcolm because he drew on unused riffs that the brothers had written together in the past. In Angus's words, Power Up was pretty much a dedication to Malcolm, my brother. A legacy piece, like Back in Black, was a tribute to Bon Scott. Thus, Malcolm's influence continued to shape the band's music even after his passing. Bassist Cliff Williams, another long-serving member, also assessed the toll. After the 2016 tour, Cliff quietly announced he was retiring from ACDC. He said the band had become a changed animal. losing Malcolm, the thing with Phil and now with Brian, and he felt, in my gut, it's the right thing to step back. Cliff admitted personal health struggles too. He was suffering terrible vertigo that made touring difficult. He left the stage in 2016, ending an era. In a surprising twist, Cliff eventually returned to play with ACDC again in 2023 for festival shows, but his 2016 retirement had stood until that brief comeback. Taking Malcolm's place on rhythm guitar was his nephew, Stevie Young. Joining the band in 2014, Stevie has always insisted he's not simply copying Malcolm, but trying to keep the spirit of what he did in the band. As Angus and Brian have said, ACDC needed to carry on the Young family sound, and Stevie quietly made the role his own. With Stevie alongside Angus, ACDC retained that familiar guitar drive through the lineup changes. Drummer Phil Rudd had his own upheaval. In 2014, he faced legal troubles and was forced out of the band, replaced by veteran Chris Slade for the 2015-16 tour. Phil was not on the Rock or Bust album or concerts then. He rejoined AC/DC to record Power Up in 2020, but by 2023 he again sat out live shows. AC/DC announced that session drummer Matt Logg would fill in for their Power Trip festival dates. Rudd later explained he couldn't make that festival but was eager to play again. "I'm looking forward to playing with AC/DC again in the future," he told media. Phil even made a surprise live appearance in November 2024, playing TNT with a local New Zealand band to delight fans. Meanwhile, American drummer Matt Logg and bassist Chris Chaney from Jane's Addiction took up drum and bass duties on the recent tours, effectively carrying the rhythm section forward. So where do we stand now? Axl Rose is back with Guns N' Roses, who remain on a worldwide stadium tour. As of 2025, the band has added shows in Europe, Asia, and Latin America, for example 13 new dates in Latin America this fall, with Rose headlining alongside Slash and Duff. GNR even updated their lineup recently. Drummer Frank Ferrer departed and new stickman Isaac Carpenter has taken his place. No new studio album has been announced yet, but the live juggernaut rolls on. AC/DC, for their part, has also re-emerged. In late 2024, they unveiled their Power Up World Tour, packing stadiums across Europe. Their 2025 schedule is packed. A North American leg kicks off April 10, 2025 in Minneapolis, and hits major venues like the Rose Bowl in April and Soldier Field in May. For these dates, the lineup is Angus Young, lead guitar, Brian Johnson, vocals, Stevie Young, rhythm guitar, drummer Matt Logg, and new bassist Chris Chaney, carrying the torch for Cliff Williams. The band's recent album Power Up even debuted at #1 around the world and earned Grammy nods, proving AC/DC's spark is still alive. The story of Axl Rose and AC/DC is now firmly woven into rock history. Axl's bold decision to help his idols brought down the curtains on Brian Johnson's era and united two legends of hard rock in an unexpected way. It also underscored the resilience of AC/DC's members. Even as Johnson, Malcolm, and Cliff faced personal trials, the band found ways to survive. Today, both Axl and AC/DC continue to rock on stage, showing there are no happy endings in rock, only new chapters. Thanks for watching this episode of Legend Story Vault. If you enjoyed our deep dive into Axl Rose and AC/DC's intertwined saga, leave us a comment below and tell us what you think. Have you heard any other surprising rock legend stories? Let us know. And please like this video and subscribe to Legend Story Vault for more epic journeys into music history. Subscribe to Legend Story Vault for more legendary rock documentaries. Like this video if you learned something new about Axl Rose and AC/DC. Comment below with your favorite moment of rock history, and ring that bell to stay updated on our latest videos. From Legend Story Vault, and as always, stay legendary. We'll see you next time.